Get informed. Oh, current events. Okay. Get informed with Andy Rocco.
I'm Andy Rocco. This is Get Informed on UCB Radio, Sirius XM 406. So what happened is, I don't really follow the news very well, and Sirius was like, give that guy a show, so he can have his funny comedian friends come on and tell him what's going on in the news. I'm joined with my co-host and girlfriend and beautiful person,
Aww.
Lisa Herring.
Hi, Andy.
She'll be fact-checking throughout the show and telling us news. And I got a fun panel today. A good friend of mine, Mr. Boris Khaykin.
Thank you. I could get beautiful or something in there as well.
Nope. You are a gorgeous man, but you are...
All right, good. Got it.
No,
you said
wait.
No, and then you did it.
Oh, geez. I should have not said anything. And the swarthy one himself, Mr. Jason Shebiro, our producer.
That's right. I'm swarthier than ever before.
Swarthier than anybody could imagine.
I wonder what people who don't know what I look like think I look like based on your descriptions. Just like a ball of black hair and grease?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's me.
You look like a terrorist.
Thank you.
And
inappropriate, but all right. Racist, borderline. I'm actually Jewish.
No, I know.
Jewish people can be terrorists.
False. We are chosen
to be terrorists.
To be
So a lot
beautiful.
of disagreement on that subject.
It's a hot button issue. Are the Jews the chosen people and incapable of being terrorists? Let's do a roundtable.
This is maybe the most Jewish show we've ever had.
Oh, this show is super Jewy.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Let's bill it as such.
But, today I think is going to be a hard day because actually when we recorded the last show, as the show was happening, one of the biggest news stories of recent, it broke out, literally happened while we were doing the show. And it's the terrible, tragic events that happened in Boston. Now, I don't regularly follow the news. I don't like reading. But I'm going to try to recap, and you guys can tell me that I'm, wrong on any specific details. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. So, the Boston Marathon, that was last Monday.
That's a bike race.
What?
That's a bike race. Never mind. Go on.
Oh, boy.
You're going to confuse
It
him.
was a false correction.
Okay.
It's not really a bike race.
Okay, great.
I'm glad you're keeping up with what I'm trying to do here.
I'm trying, man.
Okay.
Listen, Boris, I know this is a comedy show, but
Just let him do his
let's
thing.
let him do his thing. This
Yeah.
is serious, okay?
Yeah.
No more jokes about the Boston Marathon being a bike race.
Yes.
It's too soon for that.
Too soon. The Boston Marathon happened, and during that, I think numerous explosions, right? It wasn't just one big one.
It was two.
Two explosions happened.
So you are correct. Numerous.
Okay. I think 3 people died from it, and a lot of people seriously injured. And I really don't recommend, unless you really want to know how horrible humanity is, but there is pictures online. When I heard injuries, I was just like, oh, yeah, some scrapes. But, people got seriously fucked up from these explosions. Maimed, yeah. It's horribly graphic. So if you really want to see the worst of humanity in a bunch of pictures, click on it and you can find them. It's terrible. It's really tragic. It is really awful. And they killed one brother. They were 2 brothers that did it from Chechnya.
Yes.
I never heard of this country before, to be honest.
I am not surprised.
I didn't know it's Chechnya, right?
Yes. You're saying it correctly now.
Am I saying yes correctly?
Oh, yes. Just looking around the room.
All right, just checking.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Chechnya.
We all agree.
There were 2 brothers from Chechnya, which is near Russia,
Sure.
and they're Muslim, Islamic.
Sure. We could say Muslim.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
They're Muslim.
Wait, okay. All right, so they're Muslim. They bombed this area. They caught up with one, and in the course of catching up with one of them, he died and kind of ran over.
Kind of. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah. One of them died, and then the other one was caught alive, but he's seriously injured, got injured to the throat. He was holding up in a boat.
He got shot in the mouth, and it came out the back of his neck.
Yes. And
Yikes.
Yeah, that's no fun. And then he just today, I think he woke up, and he's been now writing information telling the authorities things. And that's roughly it. So what happened was 2 big explosions, which seriously injured many people, killed 3, and we caught one of them alive, and the other one got killed in the process. And he's actually in the hospital with the victims.
He's in Beth Israel over there.
Yeah, that's
my hospital.
That's that's
the hospital of the Jewish people.
Yeah, the chosen people. Let's just go over some quick things. This is the one thing I cannot do. What are these guys' names again? I know one's like Jokar.
Sure. I don't know their name. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce their names.
Yeah, I was just like, every time the newscaster said their name, I was just like, huh? And
but you know what, Andy? Some people would say, let's not even say their names because
like Voldemort.
No,
let's not
you
give
didn't
them
say
the
that
infamy that
right.
they see.
Exactly. Let's not glorify their names.
Oh,
People are
okay.
going to Google them. They're going to look them up. Why'd they do it? Some people say, fuck those guys. Let's not even publicize why they did anything.
Well, let's start with some simpler things. Boris, you are from Russia.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
How close is that to Chechnya?
It's not very close. Chechnya is western.
What do you know of
Eastern, rather.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Eastern Europe, technically.
Right.
So
West
it's not
Russia.
even Asia, right.
So what can you tell us about Chechnya?
Well, so it's a pretty complicated history. I don't know a ton of it. I know my dad's been there, I'm pretty sure. I talked to him about it. They were fucked up by Russia for like a long time. Mm-hmm. When Ukraine got its independence, which was like after the Berlin Wall fell, it was a series of nations that got their independence. Chechnya did not. And they were like, for a long time, between Stalin and Lenin and still today, are just they're pretty beaten up by Russia. So I know that they want independence. It's kind of a complicated issue because they don't have necessarily their own natural resources to sustain independence. But at one point, the entire nation was exiled into Kazakhstan. Like the whole nation was forced out of there, basically like naked through the fucking harsh weather. And like a ton of them died along the way. And so since then, obviously, they've, held throughout all these abuses, they've clung to other ideologies. So what happens is kind of like what happened with Afghanistan at one point. Like we left that nation kind of ravaged. And so certain like fundamentalist ideologies seek in because people need something, you know what I mean?
They need hope.
Hope or just somewhere to deflect their anger or something to like focus on as just like animals trying to survive in the world. So over there, at one point they joined Nazis at one point to fight against the Soviet army.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not all of them, but a decent fraction.
Their resume doesn't sound good.
Well, I mean, it's obviously like pretty complicated because they have had tons of atrocities done against them, and so that creates a pretty like savage and complicated situation.
Interesting.
Yeah, from my understanding of Chechnya, which is borderline not an understanding of at all, but it's they are one of those countries that's just like a go-to savage land for movie fodder. Like their history is littered with violence and turmoil and political and unrest. Right. So whenever Bond needs a fucking bad guy that from a new cool place, like they could be Chechen rebels. A lot of the Russian, also guys, I went to film school for a little bit and I had to watch some Russian movies, and a lot of the Russian gangster films. A lot of Chechen activity.
Yeah.
So once I heard Chechnya, I was like, my radars were going off. I'm like, this is bad news.
Right.
I don't know the specifics, but these guys, they mean business.
Well, they are known throughout Russia as like this source of a lot of bombings and things like that have happened in Russia. I know that. But at the same time, again, it's like so unclear because, I mean, Putin's like old school KGB thug, and a lot of the stuff that supposedly is blamed on the Chechens is actually orchestrated by Russia as to give further justification towards it. Right. That's obviously like some of it borders on conspiracy theory and some of it is definitely based on reality. I'm not sure, but I definitely wouldn't put it past Putin to do a lot of those things.
Do you think I thought it was Putin.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay,
in Russian, it is Putin.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just go with that. Let's go with that. Then.
Okay. Putin.
Fair enough.
So the question is: so does anyone think they were framed, or they were part of a larger terror? Or do you think they're kind of? Do
I think these guys were framed? No, I think these guys are fucking bombers. And
or do you think they were just like put up by somebody? The interesting thing is like I'm not gonna. What happened was awful, but there's something about it that seems like. Doesn't seem like super calculated in a weird way. I know they picked a really big event to do it at, but there's just something about it that seemed like it could have been like, it feels like it could have been like worse. In like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it was weird that they were like, okay, let's go bomb this thing, and then let's go rob a 7-Eleven a few days later.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of like not methodical. Like, there's something about like.
I mean, the younger one is definitely seems like he was just following the older brother. And that's another thing that's in a lot of those cultures is this kind of like blind respect for your elders.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens with a lot of like fundamentalist groups as well, but also just culturally, like that's a part of evolution for all people. But
True.
like it gets extreme there. And whether they, I think if you're like, I read a whole thing about a woman who like used to get facials from their mom. She had like a spa at her house, and it was like a whole blog entry about how it's such a funny
Not what I was
such
thinking
a funny
for a
word
minute.
in isolation. But she wrote all about how she slowly stopped going and her family stopped going because throughout like the course of several years, the family became more intertwined, and she would hear more things about like 9/11 truther stuff, and then other things that have to do with that. So I mean, whether they were working with something like outside or whether it was just two loons, just believing in some of that nutty shit is enough to like make you crazy enough on your own to justify seeing them at least as crazy enough on their own.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can only speculate. Like, oh, who put them up to it? What was their motive? I think it's still too early. Who knows?
No, obviously.
All we know is that fuck those guys, and their uncle called them losers on television.
Yeah.
Like, they are losers.
A loser and a prick. But that's everybody. They're all like, the younger one, I can't believe he did it. I'm so surprised. Blah, blah. And the older one, everyone's just like, oh, yeah, okay.
Here's all I know about the older one. I know that he was a Golden Gloves champion in the region.
I don't. Yeah, right.
So he's a boxer.
Yeah.
He's a tough man. And I from what I heard of, like, accounts of other boxers, like, he was kind of a fucking wild card. Like, he would show up in military fatigues and just be a psychopath.
Right.
And, like, not wear a helmet or mouth guard.
And the younger
Which is usually what you do in sparring. And he just, like, show up and be like, yeah, punch me in the face. I don't care.
And am I also wrong? I heard that the younger brother was gregarious and like people like kind of thought he was like he was very social and nice from what I heard. I mean, just from
I don't know. He's the one that's alive, right? He's the younger one is a survivor. So we'll talk to him. We'll find out. I'm like uncomfortable that we're even talking about these guys because I hate that
Giving them
who gives a shit about these people? They're bad people. They're bad people, and we know nothing about them. We don't know anything about them. We're just speculating. Oh, like they might be like this. They might be like that.
But it is a good thing he's alive. Just aside as far as conspiracy theorists go, and as far as anything else, like it's just some sort of level that you can get some confirmation.
Right. Hopefully we could get some sort of information out of this little punk prick loser kid, in the words of his own uncle.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't cast judgment.
No, the older one. The older one's the punk and loser.
Oh, what's the younger one?
He's a sweetheart,
He's
man.
a
That's what
sweetheart.
everybody's saying.
Everybody
Take it
loves
easy
him.
on the boy.
Who's your favorite brother? Like it's like a team. What are their names? Someone hit me with these names. Like,
Joe Carr, I think, is one of them.
I'm on Team Joe Carr, and the other guy's like, I'm on Team Edward. The younger one's Edward, right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's say the other one's Edward.
And they're both vampires. Right?
Well,
Clearly.
Here's two little bits of news I also heard through the course of these events. Was that one of them? One of them didn't get his Miranda rights read to him.
Well, the one that's alive.
not.
The one.
It'd be silly to read Miranda rights to the dead one.
It's silly to read anything to a dead person.
Yeah.
They can't hear you.
Well,
But yet people do it at funerals all the time.
Well, that's more for the families. That's for the living people.
You have the right to remain silent forever.
Oh shit! That's like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger like Bruce
Yeah,
Willis
it
last
was.
line.
That was. Thank you. But that's weird. I guess when they wake up, he's gonna like. Did they tell them his Miranda rights when he woke up?
I don't know how it works.
They're not going to.
They're not going to.
I don't think so.
Is it kind of just obvious, or is it just like?
I think the point of the Miranda rights is you have to read them whether it's obvious or not. I'm sure someone whispered it to him at some point.
I mean, honestly, I don't see. I agree with the people that say that like it's an important thing to have them read. I also don't see what would be the benefit to anybody in not reading them. Aside, like clearly at the least, it's bad PR for law enforcement. So I don't see what the benefit is in them not reading it.
Well, in the case, so in these cases, right, in cases like where clearly everyone hates these people, like they are bad, they've done a bad thing. It's more for me about making sure that you do every single thing by the book, so some scumbag lawyer doesn't have like a loophole to be like, well, this wasn't done right, so now he's free. Like we all are on the same page. We probably want this guy to go to jail forever. I love capital punishment. I don't know if this qualifies, but I don't like it. I don't
Not
like
in
when people.
Massachusetts.
Is it because they're being?
Well, definitely not in Massachusetts. But I don't know. I'm just saying. We want bad things for this sweet, sweet boy, right?
Yeah, right.
We want someone to be held accountable for these actions. We want answers. We're angry. me, the city of Boston, are angry about this. So
Are you from? Are you?
No,
Okay.
I actually.
He's just representing the fair.
I actually hate Boston. I'm a native New Yorker.
Not the time.
I'm from New York City, and go Yankees or whatever. But sure, hey, we're all Americans, right? I love everybody.
But I think if
We just don't want to fuck up. We read them every single procedure you possibly can read. Just make sure there's no chance for someone in a trial to be like, well, you didn't. You didn't say the blessing.
The argument some people are making is the idea that you don't want to say you have the right to remain silent from somebody that we theoretically want to get information from. But that feels like a pretty a loose argument. I don't think somebody
who's making this argument.
But is it
people on Facebook.
All right, those people can go.
Is that okay?
I have no idea.
Can I use that as a source?
Is that just my Uncle Bill was like, I don't want him to have that right. You better talk, buddy.
Right. I mean, can I tell you something crazy that relates to this? So he got his citizenship, the younger one, on September 11th of 2012. Mm-hmm. I have a friend of mine who's from Kazakhstan, whose father has been in immigration jail for 4 or 5 years, not charged by anything.
Right.
So it's a really complicated situation, and a lot of people are saying how did he get citizenship in the first place? So my friend's brother was there on the same day, and was supposed to be granted citizenship, and it's been they haven't said no, but he's been in limbo now for 8 or 9 months, which is technically illegal or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, the whole system's fucked, man. I can't speak to that. I don't know much about it. I too have a family friend who was in immigration jail for a little bit. Mm-hmm. On the holidays of all times, the Jewish holidays. I'm Jewish. Yeah.
Which one?
Which one? Which holiday?
Yeah.
Which type of Jew?
He's a Sephardic.
Are you Sikh?
He's a Sephardic Jew. I believe that he was. He went up. He went. He didn't have a citizenship.
Look, if it was,
he went to Israel and couldn't get back in. He was trying to come back in through Canada because he lives here, but he doesn't have the appropriate.
I'm wondering
paperwork.
what day it was, because if it was Purim, he can miss Purim. If it was Hanukkah, he can miss Hanukkah.
It's not about missing the holiday. It's about being in a Canadian immigration jail.
I guess so.
But that was years ago. He's since been deported, guys. Don't worry.
But from what I understand right now is that being considered a domestic terrorist, you don't have the same rights, I think, right?
Yeah, you don't.
Well, how does that work though? Being considered, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
If you're an American citizen and there's complete blind faith in the government declaring somebody a domestic terrorist, that becomes kind of sketchy.
And that's what it is, and that's probably sketchy. It's just we've killed American citizens with drone strikes overseas.
Right.
That's probably not super cool, but you know what? These things happen. I think it's the same thing. We're sort of giving some weird power to some weird people by giving them the right to just declare people domestic terrorists.
Right.
But I'll tell you what. It makes me feel safer. I'm not even fucking around. I'm glad we can do that. I'm glad that if somebody's blowing shit up and we're like, you're a domestic terrorist, off with his head.
If it's a public safety concern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time that they didn't do it was the underwear bomber in Chicago.
We all remember those days fondly.
Yep.
Well, let's actually one last thing about this, because I would like to. I mean, I feel like this deserves a certain level of gravitas and attention, but I just wanted to move on to one more detail about this event. This was just little things that I heard about that I thought were interesting. The other thing was everything in Waterton, where they caught the older brother, was closed that night. It was on lockdown. The government locked down the whole area, and the only things that were open were a few Dunkin' Donuts, apparently. And I guess that makes sense because people on stakeout.
Police.
Yeah.
But it just
not
seems
to be cliche about it.
Yeah, I know. It seems so weird that and why not Krispy Kreme? I think that's a far superior place.
Krispy Kreme is regional. I don't know if they have them in Boston.
If they did, Krispy Kreme would have been a stronghold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons is also a donut shop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they exist in Boston or not, but I just want to let you guys know.
Some supermarkets sell donuts.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, coffee, Starbucks, they have some sort of pastry accompaniment.
Mm-hmm.
But none of those places were open, were they, Andy? It was
No.
just a couple Dunkin' Donuts.
Just 4
Is that even
Dunkin'
true?
Donuts.
Did you guys hear
Yes.
Yeah.
that? Yeah?
That's why
I
we
heard
were
that.
Nice.
reporting it.
No, I know, but
It's
I don't.
interesting.
Well, there's a difference between this is what I heard and this is what happened.
This is what 4 people heard.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody here can really confirm anything.
Well, if it's not true, Lisa's bullshitting me then.
Do we have a man on the inside? Do we have a Boston correspondent we can throw
We
to?
have
Yeah,
a Dunkin'
yeah.
Donuts employee.
Hey, how you doing? It's me.
Boston Al. How are you, Boston Al?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, my Dunkin' Donuts was open.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I guess it's.
I was
settled
selling
then.
so many Boston cream donuts, it was ridiculous.
That's the only donut you guys sell up there in
Yep,
Boston.
Were
that's
you
it.
afraid? Were you afraid for your life?
Oh, no, there were lots of cops around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, good. We're glad you're safe.
Yeah, thanks. Can I go now? I
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
long ride.
Go ahead, man.
Wait,
And they'll validate your parking outside.
Oh, okay, that's great. I gotta go to the yard and park my car.
Oh, you didn't park yet? I guess once you park, they'll validate your
Oh,
parking.
I had to run in here to get on the microphone. You know, I had to blow past the security and run right into this studio.
That's nuts. See, I thought we were just going to throw to you in the headphones. Like we just have a guy in Boston. You came down here.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we always
anyway, I
appreciate
gotta
it.
go. It's nice seeing you all. Boris, Lisa, Jason.
Wow.
Intern Ben.
He's good with names.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I listened to the show. I love
nice.
it.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Boston Al. You don't just. He's not just a listener. He's the correspondent.
Well, what am I supposed to do at the graveyard shift on the Dunkin' Donuts? Huh?
Wait, you work at the Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, of course
Oh.
I work at the
Jesus.
and the
you pop-
assistant supervisor.
Wow. Of all the Dunkin' Donuts in Boston?
No, just that one in Poughkeepsie.
That's not. All right. Boston Al.
Poughkeepsie, Boston.
Poughkeepsie, Boston.
Wait a second. Are you Poughkeepsie Al?
I am Poughkeepsie.
Oh, you
All
son
right.
of a bitch.
All right, I'm going. See you later.
Bye, Poughkeepsie Al.
Anyway,
He's a good kid.
he's a good kid.
Good egg, that guy.
Oh my God, that went on so much longer than it should have.
It sort of fell apart.
Fell apart a little bit.
Just like a donut.
Just like
You keep it dunked too long in that coffee. And that's what we did here today.
that is what we did.
Very
here today.
poignant.
That's the summary of our Boston coverage.
Yes, as on the behalf of Get Informed, I want to say it was a very tragic thing, and our thoughts and our prayers, if any of us actually did pray
Or think.
or think, I don't think either, but all our thoughts are with the people there, and I hope for a speedy recovery for a lot of people. And we're gonna move on to more depressing news.
Nice.
It's been a good week.
Yeah,
Good.
this has been a crazy week. There's a lot of crazy things that have happened, and this is probably the most big one, but a lot of other big crazy stuff happened. Lisa, what's the second bit of news?
Paul Kevin Curtis, the Mississippi man accused of mailing Ricin-laced letters to President Obama, Senator Roger Wicker, and a Mississippi judge has been officially charged and faces up to 15 years in prison. The 45-year-old part-time Elvis impersonator sent tainted letters in hopes of exposing what he believed to be a conspiracy to sell human body parts on the black market.
Okay,
Oh, I've seen YouTube videos about that.
he sounds pretty certifiably schizophrenically crazy, right? I mean, that sounds nuts.
I mean, he tried to mail a Ricin letter to the president.
What- hold on, what
that's
is-
just like, it's silly. It's a waste of time. Your
What is-
letter is not going to make it to the president.
That's the
Ricin or not.
What is ricin?
All right.
It's,
Clearly, you don't watch Breaking Bad. It's
Right.
It's a tasteless, odorless, untraceable
Like
poison.
iocane powder from The Princess Bride?
Right. Only that
You can't
was
develop immunity to it.
Right. Well, maybe you can. The point is, it became wildly popularized.
Actually, I think you can, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can, by Breaking Bad. It's a spoiler alert, guys, but Walter White may have
Poisoned
incorporated some ricin in his dirty deeds. Damn
it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's been long enough at this point.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, once this ricin story hit, everyone was talking about Breaking Bad.
I didn't know anything
Can I
about
tell you-
ricin, and then everybody just said, oh, it's the thing from Breaking Bad.
Right. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? I think AMC fucking mailed the letter to the president. They were like, everyone's talking about Boston. No one's watching season 5 on Netflix.
Right.
Let's get this back into the consciousness. Let's get Paul Kevin Curtis, the EP's nephew.
They really needed it.
Yeah.
They've been struggling in ratings
Yeah.
with Breaking Bad.
Yeah. No,
As if not enough people were talking about it already. Let's get more people to talk about it by staging a terrorist act. And
no one got hurt. It was fine.
I guess so, but it's potentially dangerous. This is like, I have to say, I was thinking about this on the way here with all the things that have happened with not just like the Boston guys, but this country is starting to feel pretty dangerous to live in.
Yeah,
Like,
there's all this fucking wackadoo bullshit going on every
Yeah.
week. I don't know, man. Was it always like this, or are we just hearing about it more?
I feel like it was not like this all the
It
time.
feels like Deadwood.
It kind of was. It's just a lot more in the media now. And you know what? This whole thing about like feeling safe, I think, is like a weird American thing.
I
where
guess
like
so.
the world is just unsafe. Nothing's going to make you feel completely safe. That's all in your head.
When did Starkweather? I think he's the guy that went to a clock tower and started just picking off people. I think like that might have been like the 60s or the 50s.
That was the end of American
But
innocence.
we've had so many of those, man.
Yeah.
Since
No,
I
we've
moved in
had
this
a
country,
lot
at
of
least.
those, but I feel like now it seems like a crazy amount. I
We
feel
also have 24-hour news, like,
Right.
from so many outlets.
And I guess that helps in some ways exacerbate the problem.
I
Well,
guess-
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people. I think this is a different topic, but this is a lot of people are saying that because our news puts your face on the screen and tells people what your agenda was and what you're all about.
it feels like a way to accomplish
It's
something.
it's a way to achieve something.
That happens with everything, though. I had a problem during all those like the anti-bullying stuff, right? And you would have these kids who would get bullied for being gay and then killing themselves. And I felt like after the news put that on enough times, it's going to feel like a rational response to being bullied is committing suicide.
Yeah.
Right, or a way to
Right.
like in some way, martyr yourself to say like, well, at least maybe like, I'm ruined.
This
My
is a
life
good
is
way
over.
to get back to it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's definitely people. There's a girl who did it in the Bronx who like got bullied on a train station and literally just jumped in front of the train. Was like, this is because of you guys. Like
Wow.
that's
Just
just
kind of
It's
yeah,
fucking
at
melodramatic
that point,
and
the causality is loose.
so it's definitely.
I guess.
But I'm saying those are the extreme cases. I feel like there's some people who are also like, I'm so ruined by I've been bullied to the point of I can't go on, so I'm just gonna end my life, and at least my legacy will be raising
Right.
the awareness.
like you hear about like a lot of cyberbullying, right? I often think like these.
Sexiest type of bullying.
I think it is, and the weird thing is, these kids obviously have some good computer skills. I feel like I wish they could do some PR for our show
Yeah.
and get
All
it.
kids have good computer skills now.
I know. I want to.
Let's get. You know what? You know how you so go and start bullying people on the internet, and once they cry, cyber tears, hire them.
Our intern Ben, I thought was a bully, and that's why I hired him because I thought he might like talk about the show, but he didn't. Didn't work.
Up your bullying game. Ben.
Up your bowling game, Mighty Ben. Oh, well, so, and then the second, another big thing, terrible, another huge tragedy, and I feel kind of bad because this got very overshadowed. Lisa, what was the second thing? The third thing?
The third awful thing that happened this week. A massive explosion at a fertilizer plant devastated the small town of West Texas, killing as many as 35 people, injuring over 200 people, and damaging buildings and homes for blocks in every direction. As of today, Monday, authorities still don't know what caused it to happen.
Right. So it's definitely not. This is not another terrorist thing.
Who knows?
It's
Probably
probably not. If it does, holy shit,
We are fucked.
we need to fucking do like.
Nothing.
if it
Nothing.
was-
We need to
We need
arrest
to do
everyone.
nothing.
We need to arrest
We
everybody.
need more watch lists. Yeah, this was interesting because everyone saw that like YouTube video. of
Yeah,
the
I was
explosion.
telling them about it.
That was like a
with
crazy
in the
video.
truck.
Yeah,
Oh, that was horrific.
there's like a
to
guy and
watch.
his kid,
and the kid is just
freaking out,
freaked out,
losing it, like,
frightened.
and saying like, "Please, let's go.
Let's
Please,
go,
let's go,
Right,
please."
right.
Well, clearly the kid is just like in shock.
Right.
Right.
And meanwhile, I'm just like, "Yeah, let me see that explosion." Yeah, but it is tragic. Sorry, guys.
I really want to see the explosion where at least 200 people get hurt.
Well, it's like these numbers are so fucking staggering that
I know.
you can't even like acknowledge that it's real. Like I'm not even feeling that 200 people died.
I mean, if
Which
it's
is
not
terrible. That's a commentary on this whole generation, guys.
No, I
No.
agree. I think there's kind of. I mean, Boston, I think, is just close enough to us that I feel like we're more affected by that than Texas.
Well,
Also-
the effect is that was people attacking people. This seems to be an accident.
But
I
the numbers
imagine.
too, that's also like a necessary psychological defense mechanism. There's like a famous Stalin quote that like I'm gonna butcher, but it's something the idea of like the death of one person is a tragedy, the death of a million is a statistic or something
Right.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so like the idea is like if you're gonna like emotionally react to the way that like a close friend dies to the way to like a million strangers dying, like how are you supposed to live life, you know?
Right.
You just can't. You have to at a certain point distance at least somewhat to like just go on with your day.
and then Stalin said, "Let's kill all the illiterate.
Yeah.
Let's just
He
do."
was crazy. He would switch on a dime sometimes. He'd be talking about one thing, just go in a completely
Very
different direction.
poignant statements to just
Let's just murder the illiterate. Let's get this illiteracy rate down by killing them all. Why don't we do that?
I mean, it on paper makes sense.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, get rid of them. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know the cause of this either yet, right? But
No.
again, from what I know from the movies, fertilizer is a way for MacGyver to make bombs.
So it was
So
MacGyver.
no, I just believe.
Well, it's methane, right?
Yeah, you gotta have enough
Right.
fertilizer. It's just a factory that makes fertilizer. I would imagine that's a pretty volatile environment. You know, one
Sure.
thing goes
I think
wrong.
I actually would think that most factories are kind
Any
of
factory.
Yeah, I would just like heavy machinery
And just energy, just
Does it-
there's a
yeah.
necessity for lots of energy.
fertilizer in particular. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's pretty dangerous. That's terrible. And geez, we ought to start like we should put some links to the show to like so people can donate like directly to some like give some money
to help out. That's a nice sentiment.
Yeah.
I would say sure.
Yeah, that's a nice way of making yourself feel better about it.
Yeah. I'm not going to do anything personally or give any of my money. But
someone in the ether should make this happen.
This has all been very traumatic. I think though.
You seem very flustered by it. It seems like this week really
Well,
took
the
a lot
one
out
thing
of
that
you.
did bother me the most about this is that I love having this friend on Facebook. It's not even somebody I know super well,
Okay.
but he literally posts tons of libertarian like comments every day. And one of the things he said was that there was just recently a bill that was going to be passed in Congress that would allow that companies to sell their information to the government. And the act is called
CISPA.
Yes.
I bet I know the friend you're talking about.
Yeah,
Actually,
and
but-
it says, and then on the set it goes, "Hey, when we were distracted by Texas and Boston, this
yeah, that's
bill
a
was
pretty dumb
passed."
thing to say.
That's a way to not make any friends.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and I was just like, like
Maybe
distracted.
that's a valid distraction. Maybe it's okay to focus your attention on that.
But that's a
second.
slippery slope because that turns into like maybe the government did this so that we
To
didn't know about
distract
that.
you.
Yeah.
And then
Right,
you're
They probably
clearly
did.
fucking.
Yeah, by
Get
the-
out, Lisa.
When I punched Jason in the dick earlier, it
Yeah.
was just to steal one of his dollars that he had in his
That's
pocket.
just that's a
He's
politics 101.
furious at you for punching him in the dick, but he's totally cool with his current financial affairs.
I'm
so-
oblivious to it. I still don't know.
Yeah. But it just seems so weird that that's what some people are thinking about this.
But the thing is that it's a gray area, and so like those people aren't always wrong with those types of situations. Like things do get created that way, just in different settings. Not to say, but like okay, there is this idea, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there are things that have been thought of as conspiracies before, that
Like love.
were reality. No. Yes, love is a sham by the U.S. government
Catholic
to
Church
distract us.
invented
Yeah,
love.
but like there's been things. The one argument that I don't like that people make, and it makes it like I don't want you on my side anymore when you're trying to argue with like a 9/11 truther or something like that. When someone says like the U.S. government could not have like ethically done something like this, and they have, they do these things. Like during the Prohibition, we poisoned intentionally like tons of alcohol that went in, and thousands of people died from it, more than the amount of people that died in 9/11. You know what I mean? So the idea that like the U.S. this isn't like a nutty thing. This is on Wikipedia. This is like. Whatever.
the most reliable
The
source.
definitive truth.
You know what it is. At this point, that sarcasm is unwarranted, Andy.
I'm pro Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
saying- I
but
read-
it's just the thing that happens, and so like it can't be that black and white. Where like,
Sure.
in this case, it's a dumb thing to say at the least because like who the fuck knows what happened there? So there's no reason to make like insulting statements to anyone feeling empathetic
Right.
towards this situation. At the least, you can like see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I think there's like so many memes and things like that like I think when the Aurora shooting happened, something happened very similar to that, where somebody was like, when you were distracted with...
Well, you know what it is? I think there's always going to be some fucking shit going on in Congress because that's what it does. It just does stuff all day,
Right.
hopefully. They're always doing law. And then whatever tragedy is happening, there's always going to be some law, something being debated on the floor that someone doesn't like. And they're obviously going to be like, well, you guys aren't paying attention to my issue. Why? Because, this guy on bath salts just ate that other guy's face.
It's like, guess what? Unfortunately, most of the country probably wouldn't have given a shit about
Right.
CISPA either way.
If anything...
Is that an acronym? Does anybody know?
CISPA?
Is it CISPA?
I don't know, man.
Because there was like Protect IP and SOPA.
was a friend of mine.
Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act.
But is it an acronym? Or
We
is
find
it
out
just-
if people on the streets are calling it CISPA
Yeah.
or just calling it CISPA.
What's the good word?
Wait, what do you mean? Is it an acronym? It is.
No, but like is...
So you pronounce it CISPA. Well, no, there's abbreviation which is CISPA, and then there's like NASA or SCUBA where it's pronounced as a word.
I guess are people using
Oh, I
the,
don't know.
the acronym as a
There's
phonetic
no,
word?
according to Wikipedia, there's no periods in between it.
So, it's
I
probably
think it's CISPA.
Yeah.
So we're going with phonetic acronym.
But there was supposedly, I haven't read up on it too much, but there was like a whole part of that bill that makes it they tried to do something where it would be illegal for your boss to ask for your Facebook password, and part of that bill basically worked against that and said that it's legal for your boss to demand your Facebook password.
Really?
To look at your information as well as like impersonate you on social media if they wanted to.
Well, that sounds.
Those are like
insane.
hypothetical causes of it.
Right. I'm a little bit like I was weirded out when Congress, like on the House of Representatives floor, was a hearing about baseball steroids. Like, that just doesn't feel like it should be there. Like, I'm getting weirded out by, like, the government is making laws about Facebook.
Oh, don't even get me started. I'm pro steroids in all sports.
Well, hey, me too.
I'm pro steroids in radio.
Yeah, we're all jacked up right now. I'm just saying, like, it just seems real silly to me that it's like we need to figure out the legality of bosses' Facebook password situation handoff.
Well, you know what? That stuff is pretty important. I think, here's what I think, as far as all this horrible shit, right? There's like...
That you were distracted with.
That I'm distracted with. It's honestly, at this point, it's very difficult to know what the realities of all these things.
Yeah.
And like, you do your best and you judge, but you have like, you do have manipulation undoubtedly by certain powers, but at the same time, I don't think those powers are as like in unison as certain people trying to make it out to be. They have opposing interests, blah, 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 blah. I think the one great thing about like the direction we're moving in is like incredible use of technology on an individual level, where individually you have better ability to share and gather information. And so obviously certain people are going to want to restrict that. So this stuff is kind of important in the sense that like,
Yeah.
if there's anything that's going to allow like true human progress to fight this stuff, is people being like hyper aware and hyper in tune of what's happening in the world because of like the incredible rate of technology expansion. And
Yeah.
so like that is the thing that we should try to protect, is like people trying to stop the power that we can individually gain.
I think that's very well put, Boris. That's
Thanks,
why I
Andy.
brought it up, too, because I feel like there's something about that guy's statement, though, I kind of agree with. I think we need to, like, kind of
Have perspective on it.
Yeah, and just to like everything. I know it's hard. I barely can pay attention to anything that's going on.
Right.
So,
Even if it's true, it's just not about... Just don't be a douchebag when you articulate it.
yes. But let's move on to some more news. Lisa?
After the gun control bill failed to get enough votes last week, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid announced that the Senate would return to gun legislation at a later date. Reid's decision came the day after President Obama called the defeated proposal shameful, and former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords published a scathing op-ed in the New York Times calling them cowards.
They knew it wasn't going to pass.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that bill was never going to pass.
Yeah. This is like, it just seems like we were I guess since the Connecticut massacre, like we've touched on so much gun control things, and like I feel like everything was building up to this bill, and we were gonna came on hearing about it, and then this is just such an anticlimactic like end to it. It's just like, oh yeah, it just didn't.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. It
Well,
didn't
there's
happen.
state stuff that still can happen that's not federal.
Yeah.
Chris Christie, actually, oddly enough, New Jersey has, I think the second strictest gun laws in the country.
Is that true?
Yeah, but Chris Christie just came out and said that, they're going to revamp it and make it even stricter and do all this stuff with
right.
it. That's another one that's, for me, it's...
You also are a resident Jersey person. Well, you are from Jersey.
No, I've been in Brooklyn for a while. But, yeah, originally I moved to Jersey, and I lived there for a while. And, a lot of this stuff I think is... The cultural impact is almost more important than the legal impact. However you feel about guns, whether you're pro or against, the idea of people loving guns and going to gun shows and shit like that is just fucking nutty to me. You know, however you feel legally, because I do think in New York people get kind of myopic about it and don't realize that when you're living on the border of Arizona, it is a very different relationship that you have with weapons when the federal government isn't maintaining the border and you've got your own property there. I think people get myopic when they live in a city that has no connection to that type of life. But at the same time, obviously, we need to do something to restrict access from crazy people to guns.
Yes, I agree. And it's a shame that it failed. And I think it was just falling 5 votes short.
Hey, don't worry, guys.
Yes.
There'll be another horrible shooting episode soon.
And
enough.
everybody will get all worked up about it again.
And then we'll remember this one, and we'll come back even stronger.
It's kind of like that thing when you you don't go to the doctor for a long time, and then you get some kind of rash, and you're like, I better. Oh man, you go to the doctor, and
And
you're
you just get over it. You're it's probably HPV, whatever.
Right.
yeah, and then you're just like, yeah, and then it gets worse again. You're like, what am I gonna do?
So school shootings are like the HPV of society.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's got them. They're everywhere.
It like sucks, but like we just got to move on, I guess.
Yeah, just gotta live with this.
Guys, you can't cure HPV.
No.
You can vaccinate against
No,
it.
you know,
some
actually,
strains.
that's the interesting thing. I feel like we'll never lose crazy people. Like, we're never gonna, like, be able to, like, stop crazy people from doing whatever they want. Because even if you take away the guns, they're gonna think of something to do.
But ideally, I mean, there is obviously, like, the mental health conversation to be had in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, again, like, this idea that hopefully technology is going to help connect us in a way that, like, brings together empathy in all these types of situations.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, do you have another bit of news for us?
I do. The Boy Scouts of America are considering a proposal that would no longer deny membership to kids on the basis of sexual orientation. However, it would still maintain its ban on openly gay adult leaders.
I didn't even know kids had sexual orientations.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was a real gay until I was like 12. I didn't like girl. I like to do gay stuff. I would take my pants off all the time with other men, and we'd hang out. And
That's not gay.
It's not straight. It's not gay. That's what I'm saying.
There's no sexual context to it.
I'm saying there's no kids. I'm saying kids. Boy Scout age to me is devoid of any sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Like, how would an 8-year-old be like, yeah, I'm gay, so I can't join the Boy Scouts? Like, you wouldn't know.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I met some gay 8-year-olds in my
That's what I'm
day.
saying, but
Yeah.
all of them are gay. Everyone who's 8 is gay. They act, well, this sounds horrifying, but I mean, like, when I see kids, I'm like, these kids are fucking gay. That's what I say to myself pretty much every day.
So you see kids, and you're like, these kids
Yell.
are gay, and I'm going to have
Slurs at
sex with them? Or...
No, see, you're taking a jump that I did not make. I never said I wanted to have sex with
These kids are gay, and they are looking fucking fabulous.
They're looking
and
tight,
hot.
and they're looking all right. Look at those booty shorts.
Oh, my God. I remember when they're in great shape. Like, I got to...
Kids are usually pretty skinny for the most
Yeah.
part. They're sinewy. They're well muscled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like little chimpanzees.
But this is shitty in all seriousness.
oh yeah, well,
And
Boy
this-
Scouts, man, this conversation's been fucking around for 10
I
years
know.
already.
But the fact that they're even doing this like weird halfway compromise, it's
Yeah.
like either admit that like you're a bunch of idiots and you need to like respect the fact that other people are human beings, but like what is this like a halfway thing where like
I mean, it's just... I feel like the great change of things happens just so gradually.
right.
You know, it's like Obama instituting healthcare. Like, I wasn't aware that his healthcare was in effect, but it's not like like you can go to a hospital and get free medical.
It's a pretty shitty solution.
But his thing is like very slow. It's like he just did some kind of compromise with insurance companies, and that's kind of like what he did. Like it's a gradual process. I don't think
There's already been effects by it for sure.
No, I know. But
Anything like that where there's speculative marketing,
Yeah.
there's going to be effects as soon as there's even like rumors of it happening. People make financial adjustments and all sorts of things. To
But
try to
I
deal
think
with
it's a very I think this is like such a gradual process. I know it seems like, oh, Jesus Christ, get your shit together, boys, Boy Scouts.
it. Right. No, I agree with you.
But I think
it's a slow
it-
change.
It's like a slow change. It's just like you got to chip away at it, and this
They're
is
just a little bit behind. It
Yeah.
comes down to the fact that like
and it's shitty because it's like every kid should be able to like go do shit.
There's
like,
no gay kids. No kids are being turned away from the Boys. I've never heard in my life of people being like, "We're not letting this kid in the Boy Scouts because he's gay."
Yeah,
I've never
true.
heard that. That's not a thing that exists.
I think
I
that
do
it
know
does
that
exist. Though.
I doubt it. And if it does, fucking so what? So don't join the fucking Boy Scout. The big issue, which is still not changed, is that they don't let gay men be scout leaders. Like they don't
That's
let
true.
you, which is funny to me. But I mean, I get if you're a parent, you're not going to send your fucking 40 boys in the woods with a gay man because you're a bigot and you're a bad person. That's why you wouldn't do that.
Right.
That's what's going on. We're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of sending your kids to the woods with a gay man, that makes you a bigot and you're filled with hate and homophobia.
Right, it means you
Yeah.
don't understand the difference between a gay person and a
A
pedophile.
pedophile. That's fine.
I
But
think also-
I'm okay with that. It's a fucking private institute. They can do whatever they want. You can't make them do it.
I would just say
Start a cool Boy Scouts. Why can't they be like, this is the Boy Scouts for people who aren't fucking bigots?
Let me try to defend the parents for 1 second because
Ooh.
I'll defend the parents
like it.
in the same because like I
It's a
agree.
tough job. Somebody's got to do
Oh,
it.
yeah. But here's the thing. I've talked to some pretty skeevy gay guys.
Okay,
in
I
my
like where you're going with this.
I've talked to some skeevy gay guys. Not all gay guys are like this, but some gay guys do love really young men.
All right, but still, there's a difference between like
I know
18, 22.
Right.
Yeah.
What guys do you know that don't love young women? Like, what are you talking
I'm not saying,
about?
No, I'm not. They shouldn't
I would
be-
imagine the percentage of gay
men
guys.
shouldn't be Girl Scout leaders. I think that shouldn't happen
Right,
either.
right. I guess that's the thing is that there's not a mix of gender there.
Yeah,
Right, but there's also not. Boy Scouts are not. They're like how old maximum?
18.
18. You could go on Boy Scout overnights when you're 18.
Yeah, you can be an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, but that Eagle Scout doesn't mean your age. It's how much you've like.
No,
how much
18.
you've
It
put
goes
in.
to your senior year in high school.
You can't be an Eagle Scout till you're 18.
You can, but Boy Scouts goes. You can be
And
a
you're
Boy
just hanging
Scout.
out with like 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds.
No,
and
they're
shit?
divided by age. I was a Girl Scout way too late.
Yeah.
I was like a Girl Scout in like 8th grade.
I think all scouting
And
is the gayest shit.
it
I don't
is.
know why this is even
Seems
a conversation.
awesome. I wish I was in the Scouts. I'm serious.
So join it, man.
Well, it's
Be a
too
scout
late
leader.
for me. It's too
Yeah.
late. But I wish as a kid, like that. I love camping. That shit all seems awesome. Here's what I'll say though about those parents. Why that I think they're absolute idiots is because like if I was a pedophile and I wanted to get at their kiddies, I would not be like openly gay. Like they would not know those things. I would look like a total bro that's about to lead their scouts.
Exactly.
If I'm trying to trick them into giving me access to their kids' wieners, I wouldn't do it by being like, okay, there's one thing you should know about me. Maybe you noticed I'm a little bit effeminate. I'm gay. I hope I can still take your kids into the woods.
Nope.
I wouldn't do
Bad
that. I
approach.
would be like, yo, fuck gay people, am I right? Let me
Right.
take your kids out.
What you would do is you'd overcompensate like crazy and actually join
Like
the Republican
most
Party. You'd join,
homophobes do.
You'd enter politics and then forcibly
and then fuck the shit out of their kids.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Boris
guys.
rules to live by.
Yeah.
Lisa, can we go on to the next bit of news?
Can we please go on to the next bit of news?
We
please?
can. A poll conducted by the Huffington Post suggests Americans are less concerned about the environment now than they were a year after Earth Day was established in 1971. The poll also found, though, that Americans are taking more steps to protect the environment, including recycling, eating organic food, and conserving electricity.
I don't know what to think about this. I don't know if this is.
Well, it's
I don't know if this is
bad,
good
too.
or bad, but
We're less concerned, but we're doing more.
Right.
So we're
Right.
just like chilled out about it. We're like,
or
yeah,
maybe,
we got this.
or maybe it's just so ingrained in our system. We're like,
Yeah.
oh God, I gotta recycle, or else they're gonna fucking fine me $100.
But it's
like,
that's worse in some ways because people do a lot of and this is like I feel like a political thing too, where like a lot of times you have like an issue like this where like conservatives will either just like pretend it's not happening or whatever it is, but then Democrats propose like a horrible solution that is either does nothing but like transfer money where they want to transfer it or makes things worse in some situations. And like that's one of those where like tons of times you have something that's like a real environmental issue and Republicans pretend it's not a thing and Democrats just want to like there's a reason why we didn't sign like Kyoto Protocol even with Clinton, you know what I mean? Because all it did was
what is that?
it was something that basically wanted to tax nations that polluted more and transfer that money to nations that polluted less. But
Nations?
nations.
And
But the problem.
countries.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
but the problem is that countries that pollute more are usually just countries that produce more, and countries that pollute less are usually just countries that produce less. So it would just be a way of, and it's the same way as like carbon offsets and shit like that. Like it doesn't actually change the environment; it just transfers funds.
Yeah. Well, people who compost farmers.
That
Rule
shit's
by
great.
rule.
That shit's great. But when I see somebody who's like a raging liberal walking around talking about this shit and then smoking a cigarette and dumping it on the sidewalk, I want to punch them in the face.
Yeah.
Because like it's just as I watch people who claim themselves to be like environmentally conscious walk around at parties, just like dropping their beer wherever, and it's just like when you think that way, I refuse to believe that like your brain is compartmentalized. To, like, give a shit.
I'm a very anti-litter person in general,
Me
especially
too.
for New York. Only because I love New York, and I feel like it just takes so little to not like throw
There's
something
a
on the
trash
ground.
can everywhere.
Well,
Well, it's a
Yeah.
psychological thing. I don't even think it's just with littering. I think if you're the type of person who walks around shitting around and just not connecting the fact that like what you do has this effect on the world, that's not even just with recycling. To me, that's just like, oh man, fucking put all those people into camps.
It's a greater problem.
Wow.
This got dark.
I
will say
agree.
that
Send
cigarettes
those
are-
guys to Chechnya.
Hey, cigarettes is weird because it's like the only totally acceptable form of littering. Like,
It's
you can
terrible.
flick
I
them
have a
anywhere.
bit
That's
on this.
cool.
I don't know if you've ever heard this bit, but it's like this whole thing where like people who normally aren't pieces of shit,
Right.
for some reason feel it's okay to dump their garbage in the street because they fucking inhaled half of it.
Yeah,
Right.
It's fucked up, man. I will say this though: I don't litter. All right, I don't do it.
Fucking good.
My dad, fucking sociopath. If he works in the city, if he sees people litter, he fucking parts his car, like gets out and fucking screams at them.
All
like,
right.
pick that up, motherfucker! Like,
Good, your dad's a hero.
goes off the handle.
Your dad sounds really hot.
He's all right. He's also doesn't he doesn't
He's
kill
not
insects.
underage by any chance.
No, he's older than me actually. He doesn't kill insects.
Weird.
And he yells at people who litter. Okay, fine. I don't litter because I grew up under his regime. Yeah, but when people throw fucking like a sheet of paper on the floor of New York City, I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, the city is the litter. We've scarred Mother Earth's face with a gigantic fucking cement trash basket. It's not like this piece of paper goes into the fucking kills a seagull in the Arctic. Like, it's in this other bigger piece of shit that's fucking up the whole
true.
world.
I agree, but
We are the garbage can.
No, I
Throw
agree.
anything you want
We
anywhere.
are the garbage for starters.
We're the human garbage living in a gigantic cement garbage can.
I totally agree.
I just think that's a symptom, though. So
I think it speaks to like a greater sense of entitlement
Yeah.
and
Yes.
douchebag.
I agree.
I just don't like people littering because it's just like it's like having roommates that you just want a considerate person. Just you want to live in
It's
the
like-
same space. I know this
it's
place
a
is
psychological symptom.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if somebody's capable of doing that, that usually isn't the only thing that's wrong with them.
That means they'll like
it's a
use
general
a spoon
mentality.
and
Yeah.
like lick the peanut butter off and then put it back.
But it's so
in the
much
drawer.
worse than that. You ever been in the subway where like you just see a door open and somebody just takes a McDonald's bag, throws it into the subway platform, and doesn't even exit this, and
It's
just
always
train
me.
goes on.
No, that
Yeah.
sucks. I do throw shit into the subway tracks sometimes. Like I'll spit. I don't throw shit. I spit into them. I don't throw
That's-
stuff.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's
Hot
okay.
loogies.
That's okay. So
Yeah.
the spit's biodegradable.
That's not really litter.
Yeah,
I think it's I think it's fucking. I would much rather someone throw a piece of paper at my face than hock a loogie at it.
I
Right.
would say what would make it gross is if like you were sucking a dick, you had some cum
Okay.
in the back of your throat, and then you like spat like some of that cum residual onto.
Well,
the
guys, I will make a solemn oath because it's Earth Day. I will never suck a
Spit
dick and then
cum.
spit the cum onto the subway tracks.
I think that's where I draw the
If
line.
everybody would just commit to that one thing,
Can't we all just the bare minimum here, guys?
That's
Let's save
all-
the planet.
like I said, gradual change. Let's start with that.
I don't know if I'm willing to compromise. That.
Okay.
I cannot make that promise at this moment.
Lisa, what else is going on?
Gwyneth Paltrow topped Star Magazine's list of the most hated celebrities in Hollywood. Close behind her are Kristen Stewart, Jennifer Lopez, John Mayer, Katherine Heigl, and Matt Lauer.
Wow.
Wow, Lauer's up there?
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway doesn't beat her.
She
I see
is
the rest of
number
Chris
9.
Brown.
Yeah, so the full list right here.
Wait, so Gwyneth Paltrow is number 1, beating Chris Brown. Choice of words. And Anne Hathaway. Which, first of all, I just want to say this is all just an awful thing to even discuss as news. But
Yeah.
I
I'll let
love this.
that-
This is my
I'll let
favorite
that
news
go.
item so far.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't know. Why does everyone hate her? What does she
Let's get into it. So,
Is
we have,
she- does she
5
seems
minutes left.
lovely.
I think
Oh,
we should go
really?
down this list and just
Okay.
give our opinions on all these people and
All
why
right.
people hate them.
Gwyneth Paltrow, I kind of like. I think she's a good actress, but what is everyone's beef with her? Is
Yeah.
she an
She
anti-Semite?
has like a weird like lifestyle blog.
Goop.
Yes.
It's called Goop.
Okay.
Basically, the rap on Gwyneth Paltrow is...
all right.
What? What the hell was
Yeah.
that? Was that
No,
nice?
go
Do that
ahead.
again?
I'm sorry.
I just loved it. She is so painfully unaware of how privileged she is that it is so off-putting to everyone. Like, on this lifestyle blog, she will be like, the best, summer fashions for your kid. Like, this is the best way, like, young mothers can dress their kids. And it's like, everything's $5,000, and it's just, like, obnoxious. But she's such a sweetheart about it. Like, she means well, but she's such a fucking moron. Like, she doesn't
Is she
understand that
unaware, though? Or
She's
is
totally
she just
unaware.
trying to relate to the people that
Nope.
she can relate to?
she's totally unaware.
I think if you were in Shakespeare in Love, if any capacity, if you were just a grip on
Just
that,
an extra.
you
Yeah.
love that's your film? You love it?
I like Shakespeare in Love is a good movie.
You're giving her a huge pass on like a pretty mediocre
I
movie.
haven't seen that
I
one.
thought it's not like great, but I like it.
Pretty
It's
solid.
So,
It made me
all
cry.
right, but the next person is Kristen Stewart.
I mean,
which
we
is-
all know everyone hates her.
Yeah,
Are we really
okay.
going to go through this?
Just
Yeah,
a
why
couple
not?
fun ones. If you see one, that speaks to you.
There's 5
John
minutes and
Mayer.
there's other
John
news
Mayer's
items.
racist. Yeah,
He's
obviously.
not racist. You say the N-word one time doesn't make you a racist.
And he also said black. He goes, my penis is like allergic to black women or something.
He
like
is just
that.
fun. I love him. I love John Mayer. I think he's a great guy. I think he's an excellent blues guitarist.
Can I say something? I don't know if I would get in trouble for saying this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yep.
I used to work somewhere where I had personal communications with John Mayer's brother, who very nice guy, but was also very comfortable with using language and talking about certain topics that normally you would think, hey man, even if this is you, this might not be like the sociable thing to talk about. Not a care whatsoever.
I guess when your
about it.
brother's the man, you could just you're like, no one's gonna come at me, man.
Oh yeah. Well, he'd
protect
send
you.
like, "Hey, did you see me up on stage with my brother at this thing? The picture was in the Hollywood whatever. You know how much pussy I'm gonna get from that?"
And you know what? He probably got a whole bunch.
Yeah.
The other person I agree with is Katherine Heigl. Every movie that she's ever been in has not been as good as Knocked Up.
Right.
And she hates Knocked Up. She really resents being
She
in
presents being like a really good, fun movie.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't. She doesn't like how she was represented or women were represented. But like,
Which
all the other,
I've heard that criticism. From
yeah,
other
and I'm
people.
just like, but all the other movies she's ever been in is like so shitty and like down the road, generic and dumb.
False. My Father the Hero was amazing. and I had a
Yeah,
crush on
you're
her
right.
in
Well,
it.
I mean, Gerard
Is that
Depardieu.
It's where Gerard Depardieu
Yeah, I forgot she
plays
was
like
in
a
that.
bumble.
Well,
she was
no,
his
he's
daughter.
great. Yeah,
She's so
yeah.
cute. She
I
pretended
just
to be
forgot
older.
it was her.
I loved her.
All right.
I don't know why she's so hated. She's so fucking irrelevant. Like, who even?
Oh yeah, that's
what's
the
she
other
doing?
thing. Ashton Kutcher's on there. Like, when's anyone
Where's
ever
the Kutch
talked
man?
about him?
He's on 2.5 Men.
Yeah, the Kutcher's
I
in the
forget
theater.
about that.
One of the biggest TV shows.
And he's terrible. He's a terrible
terrible.
person. And
I
he does
guess-
a lot of fucking Canon commercials. A lot of camera commercials, which is just annoying because who's buying little fucking handy cams? Like, don't we all have cell phones now?
Yeah, Jesse James is on there because he dated a Nazi.
He did? Yeah, he dated some like a hardcore tattoo pinup model, but like half her tattoos were swastikas.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, she's hot if you're into tattoos. Oh wait,
that
there's
would
an
be-
SS.
Well,
fucking
wait a
symbol.
minute. No, you don't understand. It's the Indian symbol for unity. That's what
I
it is.
think I would tolerate, dude. I'm so into like chicks with like sleeves and like
Yeah, but would you
piercings like that.
would you be weirded out if a part of that sleeve was just a big old swastika?
Well, if she's willing to date me, there's some kind of gray area to that.
I don't think.
ethic.
I think that if you
What
are
if
a Nazi, you
what
don't
if-
just want to date.
what
But
if-
them.
I'm Jewy looking as fuck.
What
she's
if
willing
you're
to-
with a woman who has a tattoo that has a Jew hanging on a gallows and Hitler just laughing to the point where he's just tearing up?
and she's sucking on my dick while I'm looking at this tattoo?
Yes, yeah. It's on her back.
Something tells me that like her morality isn't as simple as you're making it out to be.
And Anne Hathaway, I don't know why people hate her, but
I think it's
Everyone
weird that
does.
Leanne Rimes is on there.
yeah, I don't.
She didn't she wreck a home of one of the housewives of OC
Oh,
or
did
some
she?
shit?
Something about her face actually scares me. I hate, again, even commenting on this stuff. But Leanne Rimes is the one I understand here. And it's not even I just have a visceral, weird fear of her face.
I'll tell you something that I don't like about this list. Oh no, never mind. It's good.
Wait, who was
It says 10. I saw 11. Chris Jenner and Kim Kardashian, like they were a unit. I'm like, they deserve their own entries a piece.
They just
but then
couldn't decide who was ahead
Right,
of
but
her.
this says 10 and 11, so it's kind of like a neck and neck in that household.
And Shia LaBeouf, I don't know why people.
It's not that bad.
Because he sucks. I mean, he's in movies that are stupid.
Yeah,
And he's kind of a hotshot asshole. Like he drinks and parties and doesn't
I
give
think
a
he's
fuck.
a little. I also think he's like a little overrated. Like I think
Yeah.
people.
Everyone
are,
knows he sucks. He just does sequels
I
of
think he
movies and they
sucks.
suck.
I think he's
Yeah.
pretty good.
He was on Even Stevens.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
was
kid
great
show.
in Even
He
Stevens.
can go fuck himself. I do like him though. Like for all, like I want to party with him. So Shia, if you're out there, hit me up.
I know that this show is heard by all celebrities.
All celebrities, guys. We're just broadcasting. It's in good fun. If we ribbed you tonight on this list, it's all. We'll see you at the clubhouse, guys. Don't
Right.
take it personally.
Well, that
Clubhouse.
was just some of them. You can find this list online, I guess. So look it up if you want to. Curious about all the others. But we have to wind down the show now.
Let's crank it down. Let's do some winding.
Yes, Boris, do you have a Twitter that we can follow you at?
I do. It's Hardcore Boris.
Okay.
That's
All right,
it.
great,
Perfect.
thanks.
Good answer to a
And
good question.
Jason, do you have a Twitter?
My
that you-
Twitter is twitter.com/jshebs.
J Shebs,
Yep.
Jason Shebiro.
Yep.
Lisa, do you want to do the outro for the our show?
Sure. You can
credits?
follow Get Informed on Twitter at GetInformedUCB. We also have a website, which is getinformedradio.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Lisa Barracuda.
Great, and you can follow me on Twitter at andyrocco.com or whatever.
No, just
Just
at
at
Andy
Andy
Rocco.
Ro-
Just
at Rock-
search for Andy Rocco. He's
Yeah,
in there.
you'll find me. It's not that hard, and I'll be sure to friend you
on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter. I'd like to thank our guests, Boris and Jason Shebiro.
Woo!
I'd like to thank Ben the Mighty Intern for doing the show, and that's it. It's been real.